Welcome to the open book, where every voice matters. Every story got layers, and every conversation opens something new. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Welcome to the open book, where the real conversations flow. Turn the page, turn the page. Turn the page, every story got meaning. Every perspective shows. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Late night talks with the smooth bass knocking. Whole room tuned when the topics dropping. Authors, culture, real life views. Open book vibes bring a whole new groove. No fake energy when the dialogue starts. Different perspectives play a major part. From page to podcast, the vibes stay deep. Real conversations every single week. Welcome to the open book, where the real conversations flow. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Every story got meaning. Every perspective show. Turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Every chapter different. Every voice got purpose. Every voice got purpose. Turn the page.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the open book. This is your host, Lakeisha. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. It is a rainy day here, but I love the rain, child, and it cools off the weather, okay? But welcome. I am so happy that you have joined in on this Monday morning, okay? Now make sure y'all tap that like button. It is for free. Also, if you would like to support the channel, you're welcome to send a super sticker, super chat, cash app, or buy a coffee. And those links are in the description field of this video. Also, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is covered under the Fair Use Act. Information shared is alleged in our opinions as we react to various topics and people. All right, y'all. Oh my goodness. So over the weekend, there were some updates in the Nolan Wells case. And I find it quite interesting, some of the updates, because it causes this case to take a different turn. Okay. Now, like I said, the things that we discuss are alleged because, y'all, I feel it is important to speak on facts. And I think this week, the independent autopsy should come back, okay? And we will definitely know where to go with our thinking process with this case based off of the results, okay, of that independent autopsy. But this morning, we're going to tap into an interview that Nolan Wells' parents did with Roland Martin, okay? I am watching it for the first time with you all. I know that each time they do an interview, new information comes out in each interview. So that was something interesting that I've noticed, because not that they're hiding anything, but as you go, because they're processing this and going through grief, more details. They're like, oh, I forgot to say this. So maybe on another interview, they may mention something else. So we'll tap into that. Also, there is a former Mississippi judge that has came out and sharing his perspective. Now, child, I love his type of carrying on, okay? He's bringing facts. He said he knows how this should go. And the way he said it, we better see some movement in this case this week, okay? Baby, because look, it's already been a week. Okay, we should start seeing arrests, warrants issued, all of that. We should have been seeing that last week. But hey, we're getting into another week. Autopsy report should be coming back from Mississippi, not just the independent autopsy, but where are the other results as well? So he's calling them out. He knows how this should go. Okay. So we're going to tap into what he said as it pertains to the Nolan Wells case also. Now, before we get started, let's see who we have here. Hey, Cashapp, welcome, sis. Thank you for joining and thank you for being first in the building. Hey, Mama's 80s, welcome. Thank you for tapping in. My sis Latte is in the building. Make sure y'all check out my sis Latte. She is doing some awesome things with her channel, very motivational. She even has a health challenge going on. So it's at Mrs. Divine M&M. Okay, so make sure y'all check her out. And sis, if you want to drop your link, make sure you drop your link as well. Okay. Hey, Miss V, welcome. Thank you for joining. Miss V also does crime podcasts with Romika Meek. She is keeping that story going and really providing a lot of updates for those of you who follow in the Romika Meek sector as well. Okay, what do we have coming down the chat? Shout out to Protect Your Peace. Grand rising to you as well, Queen. And thank you for being a sponsor of today's live. Good morning. LaShandra is in the building. Welcome. Hey, Lena. Good morning. Cashapp said, I hope they don't come out with their autopsy until Mississippi brings out theirs first. Ooh. Okay. I think Mississippi is waiting to see what they come. I think it's a waiting game. I really do, to see what they come out with, because y'all, we are already peeping the play in these cases with how officials are running these things. Okay. A lot of things that they're doing is not the typical norm, how they would do it in all cases. I've even noticed that with the Carmelo Anthony case. When we get to that update, there was a court reporter that I was listening to, and she's even shocked too, y'all. She said the audacity, and this is never before heard of. Okay, so these people are boldly moving the way that they are moving. Okay, no, LaShandra, I did not. You're welcome, sis. You're welcome. All right, so before we get into the interview, I think I'm going to start with the interview first. I wanted to, y'all know I come up with, I'll find these different shorts of people that are covering the story from TikTok, from IG or Facebook. So this guy, I've seen him on Facebook and on Instagram. And he said it doesn't matter your skin color, but baby, when I tell you he gonna wake us up this morning. Let me warn you, my son was watching this video with me and he got tickled the way he hits his phone while he's talking, but he brought up some great points. Okay. Now, the thing of it is, hey, honey, 5K, good morning. The thing of it is, over the weekend, there was a new photo, okay, showing that possibly Nolan was at a pool party, okay? Now, there was a young lady that had made a post under someone's, she commented under someone's post, and she was given the lowdown on what took place at this pool party. Now, it's still being verified, y'all. I cannot say all of this is for fact, but it is something that actually, I would say it could fill in the gaps on some things, some questions. And one thing we do here, we pose the right questions, I've noticed, because then we're starting to see some answers to some of our questions. But I found it quite interesting that was released, and it kind of coincided with what his mom was saying about his phone pinging on land, okay, when she was trying to track down Nolan Wells' phone. Now, a lot of people have been reporting on this. I try to be careful, y'all, because I don't want to put out something that may not necessarily be true, and then I have to come back, correct it, blah, 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 blah. But I do want y'all to be in the know of what's out there, if that makes sense. Okay. So I want to start off with this little video, but I wanted to preface this by saying what he's talking about. Good morning, C Node. Hey, DC Fly. All right, let's go.
This. What if he had been a white boy? You think for a second would not been handcuffed the motherfucking second they brought that phone back to that mama? Think for a second every major fucking influencer in the world would have been jumping on board on this, saying something's fishy about this? Because he's black, it's different. You don't believe me? Okay, let's do this real quick. Since July 4th, how many videos of these teen takeover mobs have you seen that look like this? Or this? And how many have you seen that look like this? I bet not a fucking lot. Simple fucking fact of the matter is, media, in particular, social fucking media, wants to paint the black community as a bunch of fucking wild animals. So that when situations like the Noah Wells situations occurs, nobody gives a fuck. Well, you know what? That's why in my bio here it says champion for motherfucking all. I don't give a fuck about your race. I don't care who you fuck. I don't care about your politics. And I don't give a fuck about the color of your skin. Something about this case is fucking fishy. Something is off. And even if those boys didn't do it themselves, stop calling them his fucking friends, because they left that young man on the island with fucking strangers and he never came home. That's the bottom fucking line. Don't you dare tell me that if Nolan had looked like this right here, things would not have been handled differently, because they abso-fucking-lutely would have.
Ooh, he was speaking facts. Welcome everyone coming on in. Thank you for tuning in. Oh my gosh, when I tell y'all he was speaking some facts, and I love the part where he talks about the friends. Okay, in this case, we are hearing a lot, the friend this, the friend that, and so forth, right? Well, a lot of people are using it the incorrect way, y'all, because a lot of these people were not Nolan Wells friends. Okay, so I agree with that. And also, I want to basically keep my eyes out on all of the people surrounding Nolan Wells. Okay, if you get my drift, we've been clocking some other stuff that just, hey, I don't know, doesn't sit well with me. But a lot of these people were not his friends. And I think that his mom peeped that. But it's like you have to be careful with the things that you tell your kids, because you don't want them to think you're trying to block them from having certain relationships. Thank you, Protect Your Peace. I appreciate it. Have a great day. You're welcome, Ms. V. And, you know, it's because she did mention that he would be sharing their things. They wouldn't reciprocate that and share his things. Some people will smile in your face, but will stab you in your back. So we have to be careful on how we use that word friend. Okay. And the reason I brought that up is even with the post, let's see here. Hey, Sherelle, welcome to the Open Book family. Thank you so much for subscribing. Let's see. Miss J said they were associates, just folks he knew from school sports. Right, exactly. Now, let me bring up, give me 1 second, because it's important that we say that, because his mom, even with the situation at the pool, okay, his mom did make a statement under someone that posted this, that this was not one of Nolan Wells's friends, okay? And she stated that she has not spoken with this person. Now, something that I'm curious about, though, from his mother is any of this true? Because those are different things. Those are different things. This not being a friend and her not speaking to her. Well, are you aware of these things? Because what I will say, right, well, what I will say is this person, whoever it is, and like I said, it's alleged. Hey, Monica. Hey, Alicia. And I'm going to speak to my people. Let me pause right here for a second. Because I'm starting to see that some new people, and not some of the ones that are in here, of course, but y'all don't know how I operate my channel here. We have a rapport. I don't just ignore people as they're commenting. I try to get through as many comments as I can. And so because we have a rapport, I consider us family here on YouTube family. I do tend to pause and speak to my people. I speak when they come in. If you're watching a replay and you don't like that, you can always fast forward. That's what I do. Okay. If I'm watching someone's live or a replay, I don't stay in there just watching the stuff I don't want to see. You have a fast forward button. So that's very rude for one, to say how someone is handling their channel. But if you don't like something, just fast forward. Watch the part you want to watch. Okay. We want to make everyone feel included here at the open book. So I don't rush through. I acknowledge my people. Okay. I just want to put that out there because some people knew and they don't know how we work over here. Wow. They sure didn't have any qualms about whites before this. I don't know. Okay. Who are you talking about? The family, Zoe? Zoe, I think the parents are now using wisdom before sharing too many details by the advice of their attorney. They don't need to say too much either. I agree, MJ. I definitely agree. Hey, phenomenal Scorpio. She said, I was wondering if the photo was true to OB after his mom came out and make that statement. Right. That's what I'm saying, y'all. We have to be careful. I am just making y'all aware of what's out there. I'm not going to put my stamp on anything because, hey, I don't know. Okay. However, we're going to consider everything. That's another reason that Benjamin Ben Crump, he had even stated that when he shared it on IG, because some people were looking at it like, oh, because Ben Crump is sharing the photo, sharing this post, that is true. Well, he even put, hey, he doesn't know if it's true or not, but if it provides any clues, let's consider different things, okay, and see where all of this goes. I can say this person in here named a lot of people, okay? They named a lot of people, child. So these people probably scrambling somewhere. Like, oh my gosh, I know these people. All right, so let's take a look at what in this by the name of Alicia Spencer. Now I don't know if that's the person's real, because child, make sure keep them safe. They put it's no didn't get into a fight at the island. Now, no is Nolan. Okay, I guess this was a nickname. Now, I don't know if his parents will confirm that his friends called him no, but this person is calling him no. It said that he didn't get into a fight at the island. It was our other friend no and Wyatt did get into an altercation right after that, not even 10 minutes later. Okay, now let's think about something, okay? A gap that can be filled in. Remember, Javon, Nolan's other friend, stated that there were multiple altercations when he was on TMZ. Y'all remember that? He said there were multiple altercations. Now, I feel like, hey, he know he could be able to walk a thin line because they probably gonna come after him, child. But he didn't go into the details of those altercations. Okay. Now, even Harvey was trying to get that info out of him, but he did not go into the specifics of what the altercation was. Now, this person here is also talking about an alleged altercation and a different altercation. Okay. So there was one where they got into an altercation right after that, not even 10 minutes later, because Wyatt took his phone and Evan was trying to be hard. Nolan was definitely screaming, give me my effing phone back, Igga. What the heck wrong with you? Okay, so they were already playing games, it appears, allegedly, with Nolan's phone. Okay, if this has some truth to it. Now, we've been hearing about some possible deleted Snapchats, deleted messages. Were they messing with his phone even then, trying to take things out? What was in that phone, y'all? Okay, I'm curious to know, why would people have to even mess with the messages or the Snapchats? What was in the phone? What was the big deal about his phone? Okay, so they all calmed down. So that's when we head to Evan's house. Now, this person is saying when we headed to Evan's house. So allegedly, this person was there as well. This Alicia Spencer, because they use we. When you use we, you include yourself. Now, remember Javon Williams, the other friend, okay, that was on TMZ. He also stated that he went to check on Nolan. And it's probably because of this altercation. Because remember, we were saying, well, why did he have to go and check on Nolan? What had happened? This may be a possible answer to that they had gotten into an altercation. However, he said, oh, y'all, I'm getting these confused. Now, remember we had looked at the TMZ and the girl, what was her name on TikTok? Was it Alicia? Started with an A. But it was like he went to check on Nolan, but Nolan had already left. And then Javon and his friends stayed there for another hour, allegedly. Now, that would make sense, okay? If it goes to what she's saying here, that would make sense that they did leave that island, okay? Because allegedly, Javon went to check on him and they had already gone, okay? So then it said that's when we head to Evan's house because he was throwing a pool party. So yes, No came to the party. And yes, we was drinking, but Wyatt and Evan and Morgan and Andrew. Oh, Lord, this is a lot of people, child. Okay, this is a lot of names. You got a Wyatt, you got an Evan, you got a Morgan, and now you got an Andrew. Oh, boy. And I think they was trying to get Lucy. You got a Lucy. You got a Natalia to try some as well. Where are the parents? See, the parent is going to be in trouble as well. Okay, if this is true, they check this out, and you're a parent and there are potential minors at your house engaging in rug activity outside, that's a whole problem. Okay, that's a whole problem. So then it said they were trying to get them to try some as well. But yes, they got into it again at the pool party. It didn't end until almost 1 a.m. Now, I have a whole question about that part though, because according to Nolan's mother, she contacted the sheriff's department around kind of 11:55, 12 a.m., like later on that night. So I'm confused about this. Was he at the party still and people were lying? Because that part's not, I don't know. It's not coinciding with what's out there. And also, allegedly, one of the friends had called the Coast Guard. Remember, they said no one did at first. Then they came back and said that they did. Okay, this doesn't go with that either. But she's saying that the party didn't end until 1 a.m. She said, I know Evan's mom kicked us all out. Once they started fighting, it was Andrew and Evan and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, get him, get him. So allegedly, there was some cell phone footage. Okay, make sure y'all hit that like button and welcome everyone coming on in. Okay, this is why those phones need to be subpoenaed, the phone records. This is why I think they shut down their social media. Okay, that would make sense because y'all, if you think about the parallels between this situation and Carmelo's situation when it comes to the friends and cell phones, okay, all of that, hold on, y'all, all of that matters, okay? These friends have phones. This lets us know that when we're hearing, oh, it's no cell phone footage. No, y'all, these young people record everything, especially when they get around their other friends. And I told y'all, even with fights in school, they schedule those fights, okay, so that others can be there to record. And then they have group chats now that they send different videos to. Then they have not only group chats, then sometimes they have a whole page dedicated to fights. Okay, so that is something else to consider. Okay, that's something else to consider. Let's see here. Let me see what are y'all saying. Let me check some of the comments. Okay. Welcome everyone coming in. I was thinking the same thing. A reward needs to be offered, and I think more people will come forward. Okay, if that boy was, we're gonna get to that. I know one thing for sure: someone needs to be arrested for Nolan's murder. Good morning, Linda. Okay, I agree. I feel like Ben Crumb does talk a bit much all the time, and I like him, but have a hard time following and understanding him. I really do. Yes, Monica, I believe it's some proof in some of those phones. Since the body reappeared after the initial search, they need to search the black box. Oh, Alicia, that's good. Yes, they need to search that black box. Ooh, come on, detectives. We got a lot of detectives in the building. Okay. Since they want to always say, yeah, the Facebook detectives and the YouTube. Child, look, we thinking more than the actual detectives. They need to give us a check. Okay. His body reappearing is key. Thank you. Hey, Sonia. Miss Lady T said those moms have been hanging out with these kids and drinking. Nolan is handsome and cut up. What if he was creeping one? Oh, Miss Lady T, we ain't gonna say all that now. We ain't got no proof of all that. You done added a whole other layer, child. The autopsy is going to tell, but hey, also could have drowned him if a few boys were holding him underwater. Um, MJ, that's a good point. That's a very good point. They most definitely need to subpoena phone records from all those kids and that judge. Oh, the judge is quiet. Did y'all notice that? The judge has gotten quiet, y'all. I've been checking her page ever since that post she did right before the parents came out to speak with Ben Crump, because she did that post, I think, intentionally to make it look like they are cooperating and to not put so much negative attention on them. Child, she's quiet now. Okay, she has not said anything else, and she's gonna have to stand on the comments that she's already made. Because if this does not coincide with what you put out, ma'am, you have already now incriminated yourself like you are a part of a whole cover up, and you are a whole judge. I've never seen so many judges come out and talking that don't need to be out here talking. Okay, baby, you should have just stayed quiet. All right, let's continue. So then it says, okay, where did I leave off? Okay. Then it says I could hear was, I guess she left out a word. I could hear was no screaming, Mom. So yes, I tried helping then. His mom come out screaming, yelling drunk, make us leave. Wait, yelling drunk and trying to make us leave. Now, if this is the case, if this is true, like I said, all of this is alleged, child. That's giving George Floyd vibes right there. Because y'all remember at the end when George Floyd was being unalived, and it was so sad. His mom had just passed away not too long before that, and he was calling for his mom. And I was like, man, his mom is seeing these things. And I would hope, oh my gosh, that that is not true, because in his final moments, we always remember mama. You know what I'm saying? That's like our go to, our comfort zone, the one we call when we need help. So she's saying that he was yelling, allegedly, mom. Then a parent comes out, I guess Evan's mom came out screaming, yelling. She was in there drunk, child, allegedly. That's a shame. Trying to make them leave and saying she was going to call the cops on us. She should have. Okay. I would have preferred her to go ahead and call the cops then. Because, ma'am, you are also in trouble now if this is true, too. Okay? You didn't know what was taking place outside in the backyard, at the pool, and we could see proof of all these beer cans and things like that. But you're drunk. Now you're trying to get them to leave. Okay? She should have called the cops. It could have intervened possibly, and Nolan could have very well still been here today if they didn't leave her house. But they didn't let No leave. Mm, that's like kidnapping charges right there. And No was by the basketball goal that was inside the pool. And when you look at that picture, there is a basketball goal at the end of that pool. Okay, that part stood out to me too, because I'm looking like, oh my gosh. When I saw that pool and I saw that basketball goal, I said, well, shoots, it's some truth in this. If not all of it is true, there's a little truth, because she brought up the doggone basketball goal at the end. Okay. That was inside the pool. He was leaning over beside it and spitting up blood. But now his mom knows. So his mom, and she is not spoke with this young lady. If he was indeed spitting up some kind of blood, a good, because that could have been some type of internal issues. However, when they're doing this independent autopsy report, then that would show. That's why I'm saying I'm reserving some of my opinions on this, because I want to see what does the official autopsy report mean. I know it was another video that one of my supporters had sent where one lady was saying allegedly it may show some type of blunt force trauma, okay, to his head. I don't know if that's true or not. However, we're going to see if some of these things pan out to be true. And I'm glad that they decided to do an independent autopsy on him, okay? Because this is a lot, y'all. And it would be a huge cover up with multiple people. And I still go back to what could be a motive in this case. Now, one thing that I keep going back to is his Monday. He was supposed to go back to school, and that whole thing about the sports, and that he was supposed to be trying out, moving from one division to another. It's like they were trying to do this prior to that event for some reason. I don't know if someone had some type of stake in this. Okay. I don't know, but I keep going back to that. Like, why that weekend? Some of them have been friends all of high school. So what was different about that weekend? Okay, let's see here. Welcome everyone coming in. I appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. If he left his car and keys, wouldn't he have came in a car with them? Why would he leave with someone else with no ride to his car, no phone, no keys? Well, they could have rode together. You know, if they were on the boat together, maybe they were like, hey, we're going to take you to the party. And then maybe he just left his keys and car over to someone else's house. Now, that one girl did let the family know where his keys were because the keys and cars were in a different place than the phone, which, y'all, I'm still trying to figure that out. Okay. What in the world? How did another person get his phone, but then you have another person with the whole keys and car? Like, make that make sense. They were in two different locations, so we still trying to figure that out. Okay, it all makes sense now why they all lawyered up and got quiet. Exactly. I think that maybe somebody behind a fake page. You know, it could be a fake page because I know I wouldn't put my real name out. If you about to tell it like this, I definitely wouldn't have put my real name out. So, hey, it may be a troll page, but are any of the things stated in this comment true? Is the question. Is any of this true? Okay, she said, look at the kids' faces in the pool. Yes, that's why we ain't gotta really depend on them. We are. I'm telling you, we get down to the bottom. Okay, we get to the root. Also, I wonder why they had to identify him by his dental records. That sounds like something gruesome may have happened to him. HGY, you're bringing up a very great point. The whole time when they were saying that they were searching for Nolan's body in the beginning, and the parents were out there, right? I'm thinking, because they said they wanted to stop the search because they had very good reason to believe it was him. Now, his parents were out there. Okay. So I was like, okay, I guess we're waiting on them to utilize like the DNA from his parents to identify him. That's what I'm thinking we're waiting on. So I was shocked when they brought that out with Ben Crump said that the parents had not seen his body yet. That was a huge red flag to me. And for the simple fact that they had to use dental records was a bigger red flag. It almost gave me Emmett Till. Okay, like what happened to this young man's body? Is any of this going to pan out? Are we going to see, is it another Kendrick Johnson? And y'all, it came across my heart yesterday to pray for these parents that God will give them strength for when they do have to view his body. Because it's coming up this week. They are supposed to have the services this week. And I pray that God gives them strength for that moment of seeing his body. But that's definitely something I thought about too. What are y'all trying to cover up? And something else I thought about. Now, there was, okay, remember his mom, because she had even posted on her Facebook This was right when it was still a search. If you go to her Facebook page, she said there was a discrepancy between the color shorts, okay, that he had on. And welcome everyone. I'm not ignoring everyone. I'm trying to get through the content because y'all know how I am, child. I'll sit here and read everybody's comment and we'll be on here for 6 hours. Okay. But y'all, thank you for engaging in the conversation. I will check some of the comments periodically. And so his mom said, oh, there's a discrepancy in the color shorts. He doesn't have on black shorts, he has on blue shorts. And she said that a young lady had sent her a picture of him in the blue shorts, which is the viral photo. Now, I started thinking about something because it was alleged that on the report, the shorts were black. Now, if they had gone to this pool party, okay, if they had gone to this pool party, was it possible that he could have changed his swimming trunks? Okay, remember they were at the island first, he had on the blue, and then they had gone to the pool party and he had on black. Is that possible? That when his body was found and on the report that there were black shorts. I'm curious to know what comes of that when the whole autopsy report comes back. What color shorts did he have on? Because that is also going to clarify if some of this is true. Did he ever change his shorts? That's going to be a huge clue, because most people, when they go and you're in the water, you're not going to put on the same stuff. You go into a whole pool party, you want to be fresh. I'm going to put on a different color. So was that really an error, or is there some truth behind it? Okay, because I thought about that thing. I said, now it's possible, like someone said, when some shorts get wet, they could show a different color. But y'all, I am so curious to know what's going to come of this, and will we ever learn what color his shorts were? Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you, Latte. You're welcome. Delta Roots is in the building. Welcome, 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 everyone. Hey, Black Butterfly. They say where his car and keys is where he spent the night. Yes, his mom did say that he spent the night with his friends July 3rd. So they probably all went there together. Okay. Let's see here. Wonder why they thinking racism now when they lived around them and Nolan associated with the kids before. Well, his mom is making it clear on her interviews that she doesn't feel that it's about racism. However, y'all, something prompted her, and how I guess the different info that they got in the beginning, some things were a little fishy. And then how the sheriff's department was quick to say they didn't really see any foul play. I think that's what she was trying to get at. Okay, that we want to make sure we have a fair assessment of the details, autopsy report, because y'all, they know how they move there in that area too. Notice that when his father said that he went to get Nolan's keys, he said, "Don't do this to me right now." He was like trying to keep it together. Like, don't do this to me right now. Okay. That is one thing that I took note of. And I was like, well, had there been something going on before with any of these boys? Okay. He's trying to find out what happened to his son. Okay. And you are trying to calm them down to the point where they can give you information. I don't know about that. Something's up with that. And so I don't know if it was kind of like some tension there at some times, and then they even noticed how they acted. He included everyone. He wanted everyone to be included. So I think they're using wisdom and how they're, in my opinion, like they're not showing too many of their cards at one time, not giving out too many details, but just enough. Okay. But they know some stuff. They know some stuff behind the scenes. And yes, I agree, Zoe, because that is a conversation that is coming up with people that are moving to some of these neighborhoods. Yeah, trying to give their families a different lifestyle. But then you deal with a whole other layer of issues when it comes to the racism and so forth. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Blue Ski. Hey, Brahmalena. She said the way they are not investigating this case is definitely racism, in my opinion. Okay. Better speak facts. Maybe the parents been noticing something with the YT kids. That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, because you can sense it when they're doing their interviews. You can sense that. Now, speaking of interviews, I wanted to go into. Let me stop sharing this part. We'll revisit this, y'all, because I want to know. Okay, we have this part on the table right now as far as some details. We're going to know where to go with our investigation once that autopsy comes back. Okay, we'll have more details about it. Now, let's see here. Hey, Michelle, she said they unalive this boy. Too many loopholes. I agree. I definitely agree. Hey, Protected 91 is in the building. Now, they did an interview with Roland Martin. Okay. Shout out to the Roland Martins and also Don Lemons that are on YouTube and really, really stand abreast of a lot of these different cases, utilizing their platforms for these families in various cases, not just this case, but various cases. So I wanted to play because each interview they do, more details come out, something they may have forgotten to bring up in another interview. So this is my first time watching it with you all. So, hey, shout out to us. Okay. Hit that like button. Okay. Double tap that thumbs up. And if you would like to support the channel, you're welcome to send a super sticker, super chat, Cash App, or buy a coffee. And the mods can put that in the chat for you. And shout out to a Mama Magazine. Welcome to the mod family, sis. All right, let's go.
He went out boating with a group of white friends on July 4th. Independent autopsy is being done on his body. The Mississippi officials say they continue this investigation. And again, we continue to, ask the critical questions. What happened? What happened to this young man? How did he end up dead? Joining us right now is Christine and Elmore Wansley, the parents of Nolan Wells, also the attorney, Ben Crump. I'm glad to have all three of you here. Certainly our condolences go out to you, Christine and Elmore, on the loss of your son.
Thank you.
I want to be clear in terms of trying to understand this timeline. What time did Nolan go out with his friends? What time did they go out boating on July 4th?
So that was sometime in the morning. I don't have the exact time. I do still have his information up on the Life 360, but it was earlier in the morning on July the 4th.
Looking for an easier way to get that LLC next to your business name? Say hello to Taylor Brands.
So he said, hey, July 4th, we're going out for the day boating. Was this something that he had previously done with his group of friends?
Yes, it was, and there was no issues, and my son came home.
So did he indicate for you what time they're going to be coming back?
No, like his dad has stated in multiple interviews, it was his last hurrah before reporting back to school. So we were just, going to let him have that time to really just decompress because, football can be a lot on you, especially too, he was a student athlete. So he wasn't just, doing one thing. He was having to manage both.
And when she says it was his last hurrah, oh, y'all, that really, really stands out to me before he was supposed to go to school. Also, I shared a short last night for those of you who have not seen it. When you get a chance, check it out because Nolan's coach spoke out during a brief interview with one of the news channels there. Make sure, y'all, let's pause for the cause. Let's go ahead and double tap that screen, hit that thumbs up, even if you have to go out right quick and come on back in. I know I do that sometimes and forget because I'm trying to get in there. So go ahead without missing anything. Hit that thumbs up. Let's let everyone know we are live. She said being about to pay. Not being about to pass out. Now, they have done multiple interviews, right? She said that they're usually not the type that wanted all this attention on TV and so forth, but they wanted to get Nolan's story out. I commend, the strength that God has given them. You could tell when I was watching the one with her and Reverend Al Sharpton and her husband, she, at the end of that, y'all, was about to break. Sometimes you're on adrenaline and just trying to stay focused on the task at hand. And we don't know behind closed doors after the cameras are off, they've been able to keep it together because they want justice for their child. To them, that's bigger right now than their own grief process, right? They're going to have time to do that. So I get it. You want to be strong because right now is a critical time. In some of these other cases, I wish that their parents got on top of it right now, earlier on, but some of them waited months later to try to say something. In the first 48 hours or the first week in a case are very critical and important in getting the word out. So, hey, I commend them. And yeah, I really do. And God has given them strength to do it.
So the evening arrives. All of a sudden, it's getting darker. You have not heard back from your son. What then happened? What time did you and your husband begin to get concerned when you had not heard from or seen Nolan?
So honestly, we got concerned when we got the phone call. There have been times when Nolan has come in later because he and his friends are, watching movies or again at some type of party. So, that wasn't necessarily uncommon. But when I saw his friend call me, my heart dropped because I knew something was wrong. His friends do not call me like that.
What time? What time was that?
That was around. That was, I think, 11:07 is when he called. And he said,
he leaves that morning.
Mm-hmm. So he left the evening before. So him and his friends had all stayed the night at one of the other friends' house.
Okay, so July 4th was that Saturday. So they stayed the night with some friends on Friday. So y'all last saw Nolan on Friday, and then he goes out with them on Saturday. Around 11:07 p.m. on Saturday, then you get this phone call. We've heard about them having his cell phone. When did they?
Okay, so there are some time gaps, and when the friends, in my opinion, contacted the mom, so she's saying, for those of you who are following the detectives in the building, if y'all have your notepad, that she last saw him that Friday. They went out early morning on Saturday, on the 4th, to Horn Island. And something happens, but she doesn't get called until around 11:07 p.m. on July 4th. Now, the young lady in that post said that the party lasted to 1 a.m., child. Okay, so best believe we clocking it. Okay, we're going to keep these times down, but that's a huge gap in when people thought Nolan had disappeared. And then his mom is saying she didn't get notified till 11:07 p.m., which is when she reached out to the sheriff's department, close like between that time and midnight, because she had started posting, asking, had anyone seen Nolan, trying to track his phone and so forth. Okay, right, Angel? And welcome, sis. Yeah, some stuff not adding up this time, but hey, we taking notes.
Turn over his cell phone to you and your husband?
So they actually gave the cell phone to my friend. Whenever I got the call that Nolan was missing, I was like, you know what, let me call my friend Tashima, because her sons, Jalen and Javon, Nolan actually, those are the guys he actually grew up with, right? Like from playing City League on up. We were very familiar with Jalen and Javon and their mom. Again, they're friends of ours. And so I called her and I was like, hey, have you seen Nolan? Can you ask the boys? Have they talked to him? And she was like, you know what? And the boys, of course, they were like, no. So they're pulling up their location tracker on Snapchat because they all follow each other. And they, were able to help pin. I'm pulling mine up on Life 360. So between the two, we were able to determine where his phone was, which is not where his car was. So the car and the phone were in two separate locations. Elmore and I were trying to, after we got off the phone with Tashima, because she was like, hey, look, don't worry about it. I'll go get it. You know, we went ahead and started calling authorities to see who we needed to file the missing persons report with.
And when you got the phone,
Elmore, I have. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
You asked about the phone. It was important when they got the phone.
Mm-hmm. So it took a while. It took a little bit before the phone was handed over to my friend. And then we did meet up. And of course, you know, we met up soon after. We filed the police report finally. And then she was on her way back towards Ocean Springs. So we met up at the second house to pick the car up, which is where he stayed overnight.
My name is Julie, and I live in Sheepshead Bay.
Last
year in sixth grade.
One thing I'm also stuck on is this whole phone situation. Okay. Now, I don't think they've released, I haven't heard them in any of the interviews release who that person was that had the phone. But I guess I'm trying to think of how to say this. Like, why was the friend the one to go and get the phone? Who had the phone, and why did it take so long to get the phone? Okay. Like, that's a huge question mark there. But to me, that's a very big issue because that would kind of point to also a person that was last seen with Nolan if they have his phone. And my question would have been, why do you have his phone? Okay, that's a huge question mark. Now, I haven't heard who actually had it. I know in one interview she said it was a friend, okay, another mom, I should say. So that, I don't know. Simone said Javon's mom is friends with Nolan's mom because she called her to ask, have they seen Nolan? And her boys was there with her. They said no. Yes. They said no. So why would Javon say that? But come on, Simone, clock that, because they had seen each other last at the island. So at what point, I guess the last point that we hear of with Javon is when he went to look for Nolan, to check on him. He said they had already left. So I guess that's his way, you know, alibi saying he hadn't seen him right now. Big question mark. I'm still going to keep that in my notebook. Okay, because I don't know. That's not sitting well with me. Let's see. YT said that parents are damaging the community. Oh, by getting I know that they're not happy about that, being involved in this. I already could peep that. Yeah, they were deleting everything. That's a huge little part right there. She said, I'm concerned with it all. They were stalling. It's simple, buying time. Hello? Yes. Mm-hmm. Why was all the recent activity on the phone deleted? That's a good point. Like, that's a huge little part right there.
The only thing I was going to point out was...
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
The only thing I was going to point out that is very important, we believe, some of the Snapchat messages seem to have been deleted and some text messages seem to have been deleted. And we believe that could prove very relevant.
Elmore, I've raised 6 nieces and first got nieces when they were as early as a year and a half and raised them all the way through. They were, even now, my twin nieces, and they're 22 years old. I don't know many kids today who they're never without these. And did that cause you suspicion that, and when you think about your son, was his phone always with him? Was he always on his phone? Was he always using his phone?
Yes.
You talked about, Christine, you talked about the life tracker. I would assume, just like my nieces, his hand was attached to the phone.
Yes.
All the time.
His hand was attached to his phone all the time. His hand and his phone was always in my face messing with me. So he wouldn't go nowhere without his phone. He wouldn't give someone else his phone and go off a whole nother way. it just wasn't. It wasn't in his character. We didn't raise him like that. For him to not stay with the people that he came with, we taught him that, like, if you go with someone, you stay with them. You go with them, you leave with them. You don't go off. You don't go off. You don't split from the group chasing a girl. There's girls back where you at. There's girls everywhere. So she's not the only one. You can find another girl. So I constantly drilled in his head to always stay with the group, always just be mindful of your surroundings. And you know,
all of the kids really.
I constantly had those conversations with him until it's like I could tell he was getting tired of Dad, you're nagging, but I kept saying, son, one day you're gonna thank me for me nagging you like this, because you're gonna say, Dad was right. And when that day comes, I want you to pick that same phone up and call me and tell me I'm right. So I say it's just hard for us to believe that he would choose to stay on an island without any kind of form of communication.
And see, that's the thing that jumps out at me. Again, knowing how young folks are today, if he says, okay, I'm gonna go with somebody else, they don't leave this.
Exactly. I agree with that. If you try to take their phones, even in classrooms, they will try to fight the teacher. Some of these kids, okay, they are willing to risk it all to have their cell phones. Okay. So all of this with kids, no one recorded. He left the phone. Now, I was reading another article this morning, as a matter of fact, before my live, but I want to look more into it. But it was saying that allegedly the Javon that was there also had left his phone somewhere, but he managed to get his, but he couldn't find Nolan's phone. They had both allegedly left their phones on a boat. So I'm like, which boat? Like, it's a lot of other pieces to this. And like I said, without us knowing who that person was that had the phone, that's a huge chunk in this case, because how did that person get the phone is a huge piece of that. That's a huge, but his girlfriend did go and was able to retrieve his phone.
Hey, be sure, give me my bag, make sure I have my phone. And being, that's what immediately jumps out, that he's separated from his phone. It takes so long for his parents to be notified. And then when you said it appears as if some items have been deleted, obviously people don't realize text messages cannot be deleted permanently. Have you already communicated with the cell phone company to be able to pull those records?
Yes, we are reaching out to experts to try to not only retrieve the deleted Snapchats, but the deleted messages, because we know on the video, Roland, that's been circulating all around the internet, we know there was some kind of argument where you heard Nolan saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? And then for him to not come back, but his three friends who were in the boat with him all come back with his phone, and he comes back a couple of days later on the shore dead. It doesn't add up, and it makes it hard for the sheriff to say, well, there's no foul play that we found. Well, that's foul play there. When you're talking about an argument over a phone, and then they take his phone and leave him on an island, it makes you scratch your head and say, this isn't adding up.
Build a campaign plan for the upcoming launch, 2 weeks out. Anything to flag? Okay, good to know.
Yes, and I definitely, hold on, y'all. I definitely agree with that, Miss Lady T. Y'all, we talked about that this weekend. This Life 360 is showing to be important. I know in two recent cases, the Carmelo Anthony case and this Nolan Wells case, where the moms have utilized that app to track their children, or in this case, the phone and so forth. So that app is very, very important. It looks like they need a whole, y'all were calling it the Ebony Alert app. Okay, when Black boys or girls are going missing, we have the Amber Alert, but Charles, almost to the point where we need an Ebony Alert. We have Silver Alerts and so forth, because this is starting to happen more so at a rapid pace. Okay, we have the whole Daniel Irving situation that took place in Rowlett County in Texas, where that young man allegedly jumped into a body of water. His family was looking for him. They found his body in the bottom of the lake, or pulled it up, his body out of that Lake Ray Hubbard. They just made one arrest recently, and this took place in April. So it's happening like a lot, y'all. So keep track of your children. Javon was on Horn Island. Yes, he was as well. Now, his story was that allegedly, now Javon was the friend that he grew up with, that they were going down there together. And it's still blurry, y'all, for me on this part. Okay, because Javon is saying that him and Nolan were going to Horn Island together. But his mom is saying that he spent the week, or not the weekend, but that Friday with his other friends, and they went to Horn Island together. Okay, Javon is saying that they were supposed to get on the same boat, but allegedly it started filling up. So then Nolan had to ride on another boat. So I'm confused. Who was he actually going to the island with? Okay, that's still a little blurry for me too. It's unmistakable that committed murder and a lot of other crimes. Yes, Milton, I definitely agree. Okay, I definitely agree. I believe the audio doesn't match video. That's a plant to confuse us. Ooh, Angel. Okay, clock that. The parents said the phone was pinged, which led to Wyatt having at his house. Okay, so it was Wyatt. Thank you, Sandra. Wyatt's house where that phone was. Okay, that helps. Okay, let's go. Let's hit that like button. Thank you so much, Bramalena. Hey, that one, welcome. Hey, T. Smith. Good morning, sis. Welcome. And what do we have coming down the chat? Thanks for being a sponsor for today's live. She said, in my opinion, Nolan was deceased at that house before being moved back to the island. Ooh, that's one of the interesting turns that this case could have possibly taken. My sis Shelly Shells is in the building. Welcome, sis. Shout out to all of the mods in the building today. That judge needs to be held accountable. Yes. And Rogers, what I was saying this morning, she messed up, because if the things she stated about the pump and all of these things, Nolan said he was going to stay behind. If all of those things do not add up, guess what? It is going to point to her as a part of a possible cover up. Okay, she would have already incriminated herself by making those statements if they are not true. That's something to consider and to think about. I'm not trying to talk against her friend, but her son's interview felt off to me. And sometimes I want to be close and involved to see what's going on. Hello, LaShonda. Have we talked about that over here? We're not seeing nobody did anything. But y'all, in this case, I'm definitely not going to be calling everybody Nolan's friend, okay? Because it did feel off to me. I don't know why. I just cannot shake that. And then the story about the two boats and things, they are the ones that got the phone. Like, at what point were messages deleted? Like, I don't know. I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And he spoke to the Sun Herald during the actual search. Him and the other guy were out there with the family while they were searching for Nolan's body. They gave a statement first before the family ever came out and made a statement. They made a statement first. And I'm like, well, why are these friends talking to news stations? And the family has not even made an official statement. Okay, that That was kind of odd to me too. That statement about Nolan saying "I love you" when they both got to Horn Island, it was like pretty random to me. I didn't know the context behind that, so I'm like, what does that mean? Okay, like yeah, you can love someone, of course, but it was the timing of it. Like, why did Nolan tell you he loved you in that moment once y'all got to an island? So that part was a little out of place for me as well.
Have you, Christine, and first, have y'all had any? Did you have any conversations, any discussions with these? And was it 3 young men who went with your son, or was it more?
I think I'm pretty sure there were probably more present. 3 of them have reached out. And I know, and I've been sitting here kind of trying to go through all the facts and everything, because again, we're still grieving. Like it hasn't even been that long since our son, 4 days since he's been found. But I think maybe two or 3 parents have reached out. And I'm just, I'm in a mindset right now where I'm trying to protect my family. I'm trying to protect my peace, make sure my husband's okay. And it's a lot because social media is just so nasty with what this pain that we're going through.
Good morning, Verb. Okay. Verb has a lot of questions. And someone else, I think Delta Root said, I would like to know as well. And this is the important part. Okay. You said, where was the phone? The phone was allegedly at Wyatt's house. Where was the boat? Allegedly at Warren's house. But Wyatt's family was supposedly the owners of that boat. Where was the pool party? Allegedly at Evan's house. Y'all see this? I mean, why is everything so spread out? Okay, so I wanted to answer that because I did see your question in there.
Like, they think it's a joke and it's horrible, and I pray that they never have to go through anything like this.
Your perfect domain is out there. Go to Wix and make it yours.
Unfortunately, and Ben knows this, I've had to interview far too many of his clients. I always say this is a fraternity or sorority that no one wants to be a member of.
Absolutely.
What is so difficult here again is sort of like there's this fog, if you will, when you said that they've reached out. The only explanation given was that, and did it come from his friends that he just decided to stay? That was it. They didn't convey anything else.
Yes, that was it. They said that that he wanted to stay and hang out with this girl named Katie, and also, and this was the initial conversation, me being alerted to him being missing. It was, oh, well, Katie's also missing, but we don't know who she is. Like, that was our first time kind of seeing her type of thing. So then when I'm going to social media,
wow,
I'm coming from a place with information that was given to me by people that were there.
Ben, and you mentioned the video circulating. There appeared to be a lot of boats in that area, and they were shooting video. In terms of this investigation, are you troubled by the lack of urgency that you're hearing from this sheriff, who's just sort of being somewhat nonchalant about what took place with Nolan Wells 4 days ago, or 6 days ago, if you will?
Yeah, Roland, we're very concerned because from the very beginning, his response was that, well, we don't think it was foul play. Well, how do you know? You haven't even investigated anything.
Right.
And that video certainly makes you think that there's something that doesn't pass the smell test. And the fact that you have the young lady who said that Nolan said he was going to get back.
That's a great question, and welcome. Now, Matt Cal, I think it's Matt Calmu. That's a great question. I don't know what messages were deleted. I believe she said you could tell. You know how like when you're texting someone, and then you can tell that there was a reply, but that reply doesn't show. Maybe it was something like that as far as them saying messages. I know she said a lot of the snaps were missing and it had not been 24 hours. Okay. Welcome everyone coming on in. Thank y'all for tuning in to the open book. Make sure you hit that like button as you come on in. It is for free. All those people at that party are just as responsible for all of this. Exactly. Okay. Lone Star stated that the pool party doesn't match the timeline. The mother was contacted at 11 p.m. They say the pool party was over at 1 a.m. Makes no sense. That's what we were saying earlier. Yes, that part. And like I said, y'all, that post that was made from that young lady, we're just, hey, showing y'all what it is, okay? However, it has not been verified, the validity of all of that. A lot of this will be able to kind of key in on more once the independent autopsy results come back. And that should be back this week, okay? What do we have coming down the chat? Shout out to Lisa for the super sticker and for being a sponsor for today's live. Thank you so much. Also, when the dad and the mom's friend went to these boys' houses, were their parents not present at the time? Very good question. I was thinking that too. Why is the dad having to talk to the kids? Because I would be like, look, I need to talk to your mom and dad. Okay, I don't even want to have a conversation with you because he's trying to calm him down. I guess he went with some other people when they went over to the house and so forth. He wanted to get them out and get them calm. We ain't trying to come up in here and mess up nothing. I'm just here to get my son's keys. And I'm wondering, did they ever get his wallet? I'm wondering where were his clothes? It's still a lot of things that I haven't heard them mention that was still missing. Okay, that's something else to consider. Where were the rest of his things, his items?
On the boat with the boys, and then the boys said, "No." Nolan told them that he was going to stay with the girl.
Roger.
Which one is it? Somebody must not be telling the truth. And again, we cannot overstate it enough. What 18-year-old teenager says, I'm going to stay behind on the island and don't ask for their cell phone?
I just built a budgeting app.
What? How?
Base 44. Look, it pulls all our expenses into one place and breaks down spending.
Well, especially when you look at the map that shows the distance this were those photos taken on that day, or was it a previous boating trip?
We think on that day.
That was taken on that day, specifically the one with all three of them. Whenever I had made the post asking for information, there was a young girl who reached out to me and she said, "Hey, Miss Christine, I know that in the report it's stating that he had black shorts on, but she was like, he actually had blue shorts. And those are two very different colors. Like you can't get those two confused." And so what she did is she's like, "I'm going to send you these pictures to show you. So, I could use to show everybody like this is actually the color of the shorts he was wearing." Because she was concerned too
So they had sent those photos to her, or
no, these are pictures that she took. No, she took the pictures.
Okay, so she was.
Yeah, she took those herself and she sent them to me.
She was out there.
Yeah, she was out there.
Got it.
Now, okay. And welcome. Shout out to everyone. Also, shout out to Patrice for the super chat and for being a sponsor. She said, "Thanks for staying on top of this, Olivia Pope." OB, come on now. Look, I got to have y'all's help too. And shout out to Dreamy Girl, my in the building. Later, we kind of talked about this part here. Okay. I'm curious to know what color shorts Nolan had on when they found his body. One reason I bring that up is because of the different short colors that were mentioned, that the black shorts allegedly were on the report. Okay. Now, my thing is this: is it possible that when he left and went to this alleged pool party, that he could have changed shorts? Now, the girl who took the picture, okay, this is kind of filling in some gaps for me. I don't know if it's the same one. Is it possible that that's the one that just made the post this weekend, or that we've been seeing this weekend? I showed you all earlier this post here. Is this the girl that could have possibly sent the mother the picture that has now gone viral with the blue shorts? It's a lot of people that were contacting his mom. So I don't know if she personally knows a lot of these people, but is it possible that this is the same person that was out there? Because my question was, when the young lady that was on the TikTok panel, she said that one of the boys was not even in the photo, and that Nolan was allegedly only close to the one on the right, Warren. Okay, that one of the boys was not in it. So I said, well, who's the photographer? So is it possible that this young lady was the photographer? Because someone took the picture. She said they took the picture and sent it to her to prove the color shorts. Okay, so that is just something to think about as well. All right, let's continue.
Got it. Obviously, it has been 4 days since your son's body was found. 7 days since you last saw him. Are you concerned with the pace of this investigation? I would also ask Ben. I mean, do you believe? I mean, initial reports saying that the young men have been questioned. No one obviously has been taken into custody. Any thoughts and concerns about that? The pace of this investigation, that here we are, it's 4 days later, and there still are so many unanswered basic questions.
Yeah, I know the family is very concerned. That's why they wanted an independent autopsy done, Roland Martin. And so the body was flown from Mississippi to Washington, D.C., because they want to have a doctor do an exam of his body that had no connection.
What do we have coming down the chat? Shout out to here, none other than the gentleman did in the building. Salute to the family. Keep cooking, sis. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to have you here. Thank you so much for tapping in this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I love your content. I can say it so you can hear my voice. Okay. I love your content as well. You keep cooking too. Let's go.
No influence from the law officials in the state of Mississippi, because it's inescapable that, Roland, had the roles been reversed and you had 3 young black men and a young white man on a boat, and the white man dies or is killed, you will see a completely different investigation, Roland Martin. I mean, especially, and you got his cell phone, and you back on the island, and you leave him on the island. I mean, it's so many things that says you all are not doing a zealous investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. We want the same kind of investigation that you would have did if the roles were reversed for a young white man for our son too.
Absolutely.
As business owners, you have a tool like
And
Taylor
I just
Brand
want
as a
to
business
pause-
builder. From
pause
forming an LLC,
here.
your EIN.
Also, right here, this question, some people are saying, oh, a statement. Some people saying the water was choppy, but it looks pretty calm. I actually looked that up. What were the currents like that day, the day before on 4th of July, and then leading up to the 5th? And it stated that the currents were calm. Okay, because that was also another question mark, a red flag, is to if the parents had been out there searching on the 5th, they did not see Nolan's body. How on the morning of that Monday morning, able to find his body almost in the same location he would have been? That was very suspicious as well. Okay. And a huge red flag. So shout out. Thank you. I'm trying to get to as many questions and comments if I see them. Y'all make sure you tap that like button. It is for free.
Elmore, it has to be. I listened to you as you talked about. Your son felt like you were badgering him when all those questions. And the reality is, fathers and mothers desperately want to protect their children, want to provide them
That's a fake picture,
with as much cover as possible. And so, as you think about those many conversations, you absolutely believe that you gave your son so much information that you don't believe for a second that he would decide on a whim just to make some crazy decision and just go off with some other people he had no idea, didn't know who they were at all.
I believe I gave my son, like I said, enough information to not do that. He had too much at stake. He had a plan for his life. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he had to do.
There's a content creator on IG, Black Butterfly, named Nicole.everything, and she had shared it, that post with the picture of the pool party and the comment, and Nola's mother commented under her post. Yes, I agree, Thomas. You got to be aware of smoke screens. Okay, we got to filter out what's important and what's not in this case, because it's a lot that is irrelevant. We're trying to stay focused on the main facts of it, the things we know to be facts. Some of the other things we got to say alleged, or that it has not been proven yet. We just don't know, but we kind of know it's out there. We still want to be in the know, right? But not everything is fact. And be careful on TikTok, y'all, because some of those the pictures and the videos where they're showing pulling bodies from the water, that stuff is just clickbait. It's not real. Okay, so just be careful. Shout out to King Rooster in the building. Thank you for tapping in. Real Talk No Chaser. He's the producer of my intro and outro. He does a phenomenal job. Shout out to him in the building as well. They would have locked my whole family up in Ben's statement. Okay. Okay. Right, Caleb? I don't know. See, this here will put a spotlight on Mississippi officials, the sheriff's department, if anything. They can't just play the game of just half stepping. Now the light is shining. Okay. So now, with all of these eyes on this investigation, they're going to go a little deeper. Remember, we talked about potential cameras in the area. Although there may not be cell phone signals there on the island itself, there is a place called Ocean Springs Marine Mart. And one of the ports that they dock the boats to actually go to the island, because you can only get there by boat. My question is, have they looked into any possible camera footage there at the ports, in the parking lots? Okay, when did people come and go? His dad stated that there was a family staying on the island allegedly overnight. Child, for one, I'm trying to see why. That's suspicious as well, because baby, I'm hearing of animals out there. I mean, people do camp out there, don't get me wrong. But I know I'm not trying on July 4th, 5th weekend, so I'm not trying to be out there with all these animals. Okay. So hey, he said he saw a family that had been staying out there overnight. So hey, what camera footage is possible, okay, for this particular case? They're gonna have to do some footwork. I know these sheriffs and police departments, they used to have stepping, drinking coffee, eating donuts, not really going into things. On this case, because there's so much attention on it now, it's now a high profile case. They are going to have to do the work. Okay, not just throw whatever out there. So I definitely agree.
Coming up that following Monday, which was get down to business so he can get on with his life and get his future started. So for someone to tell me that Nolan decided to stay on the island to chase a girl, I do not believe you. No one is going to get me to believe that. Not one bit. No, I can't believe that because he wasn't raised like that. I had him super focused on what he wanted to do. He was finally buying into what I was talking about as far as sports and business and really taking it serious and understanding that if he wanted it, he had to put in the work.
Here's how I saved over $500 a year on my car insurance. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Right, 118.
Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause that interview and I'm going to drop the link into the chat for those of you who would like to watch that later in its entirety. There is some of that still left. Let me put that. But I want us to tap into this former Mississippi judge, and I love his type of carrying on. Okay. He said he knows how this should go. He is calling out the Mississippi officials, the judges, and all of that to make a stand and to do the right thing. He should see some movement. We should have already seen some movement, okay? But definitely this week, the time is ticking. Okay, so let me pull up. His name is Judge Carlos Moore. Judge Carlos Moore. Okay, give me 1 second. Make sure y'all tap that like button. It is for free. Shout out to Roland Martin on doing a phenomenal job with that interview. Y'all make sure you subscribe to his channel and check out that in its entirety. All right, let's go.
A few years on the bench, and not only Clarksdale, Mississippi, but I served for 4 years on the bench in Grenada, Mississippi. So come on in, invite your friends, invite your family, invite your relatives. You want to hear a real person's experience with experience as a judge in Mississippi, opinion about
shout out to Sugar Mama Man.
Whether or not there should be an immediate arrest or arrest of those suspected of foul play in relation to the death of Nolan Wells off the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Come on in and hear it from the horse's mouth. Someone who had the authority to sign not only search warrants, but arrest warrants. Someone who presided over initial appearances, arraignments, and preliminary hearings for those accused of murder and other heinous crimes in Mississippi. I can talk now that I am a retired judge. Had I still been sitting at...
Okay, and I want to say this right quick. I agree with Raymond right here. This was shocking for the United Cajun Navy man that did the interview, because he stated that it does flow out to the Gulf of Mexico. He was also surprised that Nolan's body was still in the position where it was, which it was a question mark for me when I first heard that as well. And I started thinking before any of this came out, okay, I think just me and the detectives in the chat, we were thinking this through. Was it possible that his body was put there earlier that day? Okay, for it to still be in the vicinity within hours that they found his body. That was something that came to me earlier on. Now we're hearing about a possible pool party and him possibly being unalive, possibly taken back to that area. Okay, so that was just something to think about, because he said typically by his body being out there that many days, if we went with the original story, his body could have been washed out through to the Gulf of Mexico, carried out with the current. But it was still in the vicinity of that island, which was a red flag for him as well. Okay. She said they need to check the ring door cameras. Exactly. But Jay Sanders, will they tell on each other? That's going to be key as well. If those neighbors knew of something that was going down with kids out drinking and allegedly doing drugs and stuff like that, will they tell on each other? Will the cops hold those families accountable, or will they all cover up for one another? Is the case. Okay, so that's something, yeah, it could be in a typical case where they can get some possible evidence. But my wondering is, will they try to cover up for each other?
As an active judge, I cannot give you my opinion about an ongoing matter.
I can't.
But now I'm a retired judge and I'm a practicing lawyer in Tennessee. And I reside in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Right, we got to verify that.
And I know the law, and I can give you my unfiltered opinion about what I believe should be occurring now or in the near future. Come on in. I have time tonight. I have time. And I'll be happy to give you my opinions, and then I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. It's time out for playing games. It's time to know the truth from someone well-versed in it, that has actual experience. I've worn the robe, the black robe, and I've presided over these trials or preliminary hearings, arraignments, and initial appearances. Let's get started. So what do we know? We know, after watching the parents' interview and reviewing tons of footage from social media, recounting interviews and statements of alleged witnesses that were on Horn Island, we know that Nolan Wells went to spend the night on July the 3rd with his so-called friends. And he went with those so-called friends to Horn Island on a boat on July the 4th. We know that out of the 4 people on that boat, 1 did not return home. That 1 person was Nolan Wells. The other 3 returned home as normal and said nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least 1 of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone and was led to the home of one of the young men where she retrieved the phone. We also know that based on the mother's testimony, that Snapchat, there were no Snapchats from the day, which was very odd for her son. We also know that text messages were deleted. We know that when she was tracking the phone, Life 360 said the phone was one place and Snapchat said it was another place. We know that the boy that had the phone did not voluntarily turn it over or call first. He had to be found through their own investigation. We know that based on witnesses' account, the so-called friends were seen on July the 5th, that Sunday, having breakfast together like nothing had happened. They were not out there searching for their so-called friend.
The young and they were not going to look for Nolan allegedly and said, oh, anyways, did what? Because no one was blaming a death on anyone at the time. Okay. And then also when the dad, some people are bringing up this point that when the dad to get his keys, that the young man allegedly said that, oh, you know, he was like a brother to me. Why are you using past tense? Okay, to describe him was like a brother. What do you mean? They're just looking for him, looking for his things. They hadn't found his body as of yet. Okay, so those are things to consider. Yes, Miss Mila, I agree. It's a lot of intimidation. There are cases that the judge has worked on before. We had even brought up the one with Aubrey there in Mississippi that was being bullied by some young ladies, and she almost sided with the bully's parents, okay, and wanted to protect their identity. And they were in the 8th grade. They know better than to be out here bullying someone. She even made the mom, okay, delete her social media. So hey, look, nothing. I put nothing past any of these people. And the way YT, so we can only imagine the legwork they will be doing to cover this up. Okay. If you think about it, it was more than 4 people in that boat because somebody took the picture. Yes, I believe it was way more than 4. Also, yeah, I do believe that. I agree. Mr. Nolan had a test this week for the NFL football team. They wanted to make sure he didn't make it to stardom, removed his future. You know what? I definitely agree with that, Carmen. It's something there with that. I'm still going to look into it. I was looking up the school last night, kind of trying to see some things with that. But I was also hearing that one of these boys, and I'm not going to put out which one, because like I said, I want to do my own investigation, but allegedly one of these boys play on a rival team. Okay. Y'all, it's a lot. Shout out to Nothing But the Truth. Hey, sis, welcome. Y'all, that's my sis, Nothing But the Truth. We really, really review a lot of her content. She does a phenomenal job. So make sure you check her out as well, because she's done some videos over Nolan too. In my mind, you know who my mom is. Keep your mouth shut. Okay, right. Exactly. Like she has a lot of pull. I think he was unalived at that pool party, then put on the boat and taken back there and dumped, and came up with that story. That he stayed behind. Yes, because they don't know if they were banking on the friend talking on TikTok on that panel, and that this pool party thing. Now, like I said, allegedly, because I have not verified that. Went on. Another thing that I don't feel that they banked on, because they were trying to play games with the Snapchat location, is that the family had Life 360. I don't think that they banked on that either, that the mom would track that phone. They didn't volunteer to give her that phone. She had to track the phone. Okay, why didn't you go look for your friend? Right, y'all out eating. That speaks volumes. Okay, thank you so much, sis. I appreciate that. How long it takes from that house the pool party was at to get to the island? That's a very good question, Arlene. That's something I need to find out. Welcome everyone coming on in. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We know that the so-called friends deleted their social media, deactivated their accounts, and scrubbed it clean if the allegations are correct. We know that the young men, or the young man that had the car at his house, did not willingly turn over the keys. At first, he said that he did not have the keys. He didn't know where they were. Then he, after being pressed by the father, he finally turned over the keys. This is all very suspicious activity. We know that based on an audio recording and some video, that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, "Give me my freaking keys." Excuse me, "Give me my freaking phone." And there's been 2 different versions. Some said he said, "Give me my freaking phone," or some say he said, "Give me my MF phone." Regardless, he was asking or demanding his phone. Someone had his phone who did not have permission to have his phone. So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see is who had his phone and why, and was that theft of the phone? Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed a crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is...
And let me pause to make this point clear again, okay? I am not here at the open book stating that the whole pool party thing is true. I've stated over and over, I am just making you all aware of what's out there, but I cannot put my stamp on that. However, there are some things within the statement that was made about that pool party that could coincide with some info that we have learned. So please don't come in here saying, why y'all focusing on the pool party? Have you seen me really talk about the pool party? I done brought up a couple of things, okay? I talked about it in the beginning. I'm making sure I stick to the parents' interviews, the things that have been put out, and possible things the investigators can look into. None of this, a lot of it is not fact unless the parents have told us, okay? We still haven't heard directly from the friends except for Javon. Okay, so let's get that clear. I'm showing, I didn't even bring up the pool party picture as a matter of fact, because I don't know if it's real. I even had questions of, was that Nolan in the water, to be honest? Because I zoomed in, I was like, he looked different right there. So I just want to be sure before I start putting things out there. So please don't come in to a chat and don't know the facts or what we've covered if you have not been in here earlier, okay? Because we already brought that up. We don't know if that is true. And I'm seeing some people commenting that over and over. It's out there, yes. However, we don't know if it to be fact, okay? Let's see. It shows how evil they are to even have an appetite, right? And I don't call them friends. I've gotten away from that. Some people he was with, okay? I'm telling you, because it's too much. It's grounds for arrest that he had his property as well, that they had the phone, they had his car, didn't want to hand over the keys or none of that. Okay, so that's something to think about too. Okay. Yes, but we don't know that's him. It's just speculation. Yeah, definitely. Because I said I couldn't hear it clearly as well. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. We know, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So was that theft? I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft of that phone, based on what I've heard. It'd have to be an affidavit format, but if it was presented to me in affidavit format from law enforcement, I would sign the arrest warrant for, at least at this point, theft of the man's phone. We know who had it. Wow. We know who didn't report it to the family. The family had to go find it. And we know that Nolan Wells said, give it back to him. And evidently it was not given back to him. Why was that?
Ooh.
All of the other things I've stated, you piece it together. Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder? That is a good question.
Okay, now before you get into that, shout out to my sis Latte for the super chat and for being a sponsor. She said to have Nolan's stuff and not wanting to turn it over should have been a red flag. Why haven't the authorities did anything about that? The keys, another red flag, lock them all up, okay? Because they still had his car. Now, something else, I don't know if y'all picked up when the father said he was trying to get the wallet, but he had already closed the door, like he wasn't trying to hear nothing else to let them back in. So I don't even know if they still have Nolan's wallet and his other stuff, his clothes. You know, he didn't go to the island without nothing. So besides just his keys were still at the house, a phone, like where are the rest of his things is the question. So that he said he would issue an affidavit for, an arrest on just that part in itself. Why are there not any arrests in all of these people that had his things? okay, that were allegedly there, at least bring them in for questioning. They will get the truth of what happened, but getting justice is a totally different story. The border of wickedness has no limits. The lawyer's mom probably has blown up her phone. Okay, right. Hey, Brittany, welcome, sis. Simone said all of this, the phone deletion of social media took place before 11 that night of the 4th. So how did he make it to any parties? Just a bunch of lies. Yeah, the timestamps are not matching. Okay, we did talk about that. Yes. Exactly. I agree.
I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence should have been presented to a judge by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County law enforcement agents, the sheriff's department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed by the judge, and there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the 3 so-called friends, and others, and the social media accounts need to be searched by now, or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now. I'm not telling you what I imagine. I'm telling you what the process usually is when you're trying to do a thorough investigation.
Clock it. Right, in Mama Magazine.
And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead, to the arrest of one or more individuals for the murder of Nolan Wells. All of the actions are very suspicious, and right now they lead one to believe that one or more persons could have been involved with the death of Nolan Wells. Right now we have a lot of unsworn testimony, but once that is put into affidavit format and there is corroborating evidence through social media, computers, or otherwise, I believe that at that point there will be enough evidence for a judge to sign an arrest warrant. I think critical evidence that's missing right now are the results of the autopsy, the state's autopsy and the independent autopsy. That's going to be critical information. And that alone, or that in connection with what's already known, may be enough to lead to an arrest or arrest. We do know at this point, low-hanging fruit, there should be an investigation about the underage drinking, who provided the alcohol. Those individuals could be immediately arrested based on if there was any sworn testimony presented to a judge. I believe a judge could immediately sign an arrest warrant for those who provided the alcohol to underage individuals. There's a lot of people and a lot of potential crimes, some misdemeanors and felonies, that people could be held accountable for. Was there any boating while intoxicated? Who was the captain of the boat? And what did he allow on his boat? If there were any illegal drugs possessed by anyone, drugs are still illegal in Mississippi, at least they were when I was on the bench. drug possession, drug use, selling of drugs, dealing drugs, trafficking drugs. We've heard testimony, or allegations at least. I don't think anything's been put in affidavit format yet, about rampant drug use among certain individuals. So there are a lot of things that's been alleged. Once put into the correct format, affidavit-wise, it could lead to arrest for several.
Okay, so he's given a lot of great points. Yes, you did ask who's the captain of that boat. Because, see, to me, it's supposed to be someone licensed to drive a boat. Okay. So I mean that has some ability that that you can't, anybody just can't get out and say, oh, let me just try and see what I can do with this boat. Especially you have kids on there drinking that were potentially underage. So that is a very good question. He's giving them a plan. If they don't know, they know. Okay. he's laying it out for them. Like, these are some things that y'all can do right now as it pertains to this case. If this is the thing, if they want a thorough investigation, okay, that is going to be key. With facial recognition, every person on that island can be identified with the video and still pick. Oh, that's true. Look for witnesses who observed things that day on the island and dock ports. And they are asking people with any video footage information to contact the Mississippi Sheriff's Department or the family as well. We should expect controversy when it comes to the autopsy, even to the point of tampering. Ooh, that's why I believe they wanted to get their own independent autopsy. And hopefully we'll know more about that by Wednesday, between now and Wednesday. Hey, Shamika, good morning. Not sure if you have covered this, but I have been wondering how they were able to get into his phone without him. They still had him. Yeah, now it just depends. Did he have a pen? Some people don't have a pen. Okay, nowadays, child, you need a pen or something, facial recognition or some way of getting into that phone. Now, if he was with them, I don't know if at one point he opened it, they took it, and because at first, what were they doing with the phone here on the island? So that's suspicious as well. I don't know. Fingerprints. Some people use fingerprints. Yeah, right. I believe one of the boys' fathers was the captain, an older, heavyset white man. Oh, got you. You know what? It's Kayla. I'm glad you said that, because there was a video that I wanted to show. Chronicle Speaks. She had the longer version of the friend Javon's interview with TMZ. I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm going to play a little more of his and drop his full link for Judge Carlos, because I don't want to play their full lives or whatever, so y'all can see it in its entirety. But it's something she had shown on there too, that someone else was out there recording, because they even caught it from another boat. They caught the boat that Nolan was on from another boat in a short video. Yes. Okay, my question, did Nolan have a lock on his screen? Yes, I don't know. And it is what it is. This is what they really need, okay, because Ben Crump is more for civil rights, lawsuits against the police department and things like that will help the family in that capacity, but he's not a criminal lawyer. They need their own independent investigator as well. I do agree with that. Yes, it is what it is. Let's get the likes up. Thank you so much. Hey, Ray from PA is in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, shout out to Shamika for the super sticker and for being a sponsor for today's live. Thank you so much. They had his body. All they had to do was hold the fingerprint. Definitely. It does look like a whole setup. All right, let's continue.
Several things, including misdemeanors and maybe even felonies. So there's a lot left to do. We are not rushing to judgment, but I just thought I would come on here and tell you that there definitely should be search warrants issued by now. And there could be arrest warrants for certain crimes issued by now.
Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. I had hit click stop sharing. My bad.
Was there abuse of a corpse even after he died? So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at from various law enforcement perspectives. Law enforcement has to do their job and get the information to a judge in the right format before a judge can act. Had I still been on the bench, if I wanted to act, I could not act unilaterally. I would have to wait till law enforcement brought me the evidence in the right format before I could sign an arrest warrant, before I could sign a search warrant. And so that's how the process works.
So basically, and shout out to Judge Carlos Moore for sharing this info, y'all. That's basically what he's saying that they would have to rely on is the information that the police department is giving them as judges. They can't go out and do the investigation. He's saying that by now, y'all should have enough information, right, to get certain warrants signed by a judge and so forth. But they have to want to get to the bottom of what happened. Okay. Hey, Tim, good morning. Yes, these, all of them. Now, let me share this with you all because I found this quite interesting. And I'm glad that she had the longer interview of TMZ because I was missing some parts on that other clip that I played the other day. I was like, now hold up. Okay. Shout out to Chronicle Speaks for her investigative journalism as well.
If Nolan truly intended to remain on Horn Island, a remote barrier island with no hotels or places to stay overnight, and he didn't have a boat of his own to get back to the mainland, then why isn't his cell phone with him? Most people, especially an 18-year-old spending the day with friends, don't voluntarily leave behind one of the most important belongings. And let's just play devil's advocate and say, you know what? Nolan left his phone and he said, I'll get back up with you later. Why would you guys have a problem with giving the phone to his family when they ask for it back? And clearly you guys saw a video of Nolan on the boat, so they weren't just off the boat the whole time. Why did he not have any?
Okay, have y'all seen this picture? I hadn't seen this view until I saw Chronicle Speaks video. This is a view from another boat, actually looking at the boat with Nolan. Now, who is the guy to the right? Who is this guy right here? Okay, who is he? Here's Nolan. Who are these people? Because they're not in the photos, so we don't know who they are. There were people around, y'all. We have this whole other boat over here. People saw some stuff, probably heard some stuff. They're not out there just teenagers. Okay, they're not just teenagers on boats with no, right. She said, no, ma'am, I haven't seen this. I hadn't either. Shout out to Chronicle Speaks. Okay, hey, Bridget. Yeah, who is he, child? Is that the dad? Okay, is that the dad? So that means that the family is waiting on Ben and his team to push the judge. Okay, and the officers first, because they need to give them something to work with. Okay, shout out to Francis all the way from Albany, New York. Thank you for tapping in. All right, so yeah, let's take a look because I did not know about this.
Snaps. If his family says all Nolan really does is snaps, why wasn't there any Snapchat videos or anything saved?
I want to figure that out.
Backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious.
Everyone is with the Ocean Springs is such a community and we don't see color. There's no racism here. Now you see exactly why Nolan's family is having to get the big dogs to come down on you to find out exactly what happened to their son. Not only that, not only were they hiding the phone, they were trying to hide the keys. Take a listen to this.
Okay, so the situation with the key. When we got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there. And they were at the door in the house, asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of tense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures, but he came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, I think Jack's or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, he's like,
his car was in the yard.
His car's parked in the yard.
So he said the guy that he was trying to get, the young man that he was trying to get the keys from was Jax. Okay, so detectives keep track of that name, Jax. Everyone's trying to get views. Oh, child, I gotta start proofreading my comments because some of y'all come in with just ignorance. Please don't come in here with that. Okay, just because we're bringing awareness, and when people say that, the mom's whole thing is she wants to get her son's story out. Okay, so everyone's motive is not the same. Please do not come in here with that because you're going to be deleted. Okay, we don't have time for that. Our focus is on this case, justice for Nolan. Okay, let's keep it there. Yeah, he had the keys and the car. Yes.
So he was like, I don't know, man. Nolan's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses because there'd never be a whole nother situation. So walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jax guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you done lied to me. So now I'm really like in distress with you.
I've been seeing Nolan Wells' face all over social media and in the news, and I think that's great. However, because these gentlemen deleted all their social media accounts before Nolan Wells' body was even found, we haven't really been able to see them in the media. These are the 5 men who are alleged to have been with Nolan on that island. These are their names, these are their faces, and we should know them and see who they are. So Eli, Eric, Warren, Wyatt, Morgan. We should see their faces. We should know their names too.
Welcome to Wix Harmony. Take the speed of AI and pixel level control
Right, and
to go from words into a full website that's entirely yours to
Now, according to Nolan's mother, Warren called her at 11 asking if she had seen Nolan.
Warren was the one who made the phone call, and he did contact the Coast Guard as well, which I know there's some discrepancies now with that. But he did contact them.
My thing is this: how is Jax able to sleep in the bed with Nolan's car parked outside of your home? Y'all supposedly left around 4:30, and by 11:30, you still haven't heard from Nolan, and you're able to sleep at night already?
That is a red flag. Why were they not out looking for Nolan? Oh, probably because you already knew what had happened, where he was, because you have one friend with the phone. Then you also have him with the key card. No Nolan. It's 11. So did it not occur to them that he was missing? I'm just so confused by the timing of it all. Okay, it's so many pieces to this thing. Okay, because they should have figured out, oh my gosh, like, where is he? Here's his car over here. Let me call his mom, tell him, we gonna come and get your car. Okay, and then a girl had to let him know where the keys were. I don't think she had to let him know. He knew. He knew. Okay, you're welcome, Aldana. Shout out to Chronicle Speaks. Wallet must have been where the car. Thank you. Yes, the wallet was probably there too. Okay.
Said it once, I'm going to say it again. Something about this case just does not feel right. Now, according to Nolan's parents, because they did not have access to a boat and didn't know anyone who could get them a boat to the island that night, they were unable to immediately go to the island themselves after Nolan was reported missing. It wasn't until the following day that Nolan's football coach contacted his father and took the family to Horn Island to search. Now, Nolan's father said they searched the island extensively. They were search crews, drones, helicopters, and according to the family, there were even people that were camping overnight on the island. Yet, despite all of those eyes searching for Nolan, he wasn't found that day. Then the following morning, Nolan's body was discovered in the water near Horn Island.
We docked the boat, got off the boat, walked on the island, walked a pretty nice stretch, came back, got back on the boat, went around the island, looked, came back around, and where we went to, that's where apparently they say that his body floated up. I don't know a lot about water currents over there, but I would think that we would have saw his body. And on the trip there was a family that stayed a night on the island, like actually tented out on the island. So if he was left, he would have saw that family on the island, and there was 2 other boats docked, so he would have had help. So I don't know. I don't know.
And those are also witnesses. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If the officers have not out, they need to, because those could also be potential witnesses. Did someone else come out here while y'all were here? Okay, like check out their story.
I think we stayed there for like an hour and a half. That's when Jackson County and the sheriff department showed up, and they were going to do their rounds. And I had a classmate of mine, him and his 2 boys, they came out and they searched, and then they got back in touch with me and said the Coast Guard had finally showed up in airplane. So
what is so critical, what Elmore is saying, is they went out on Sunday, and the tide, if it brought his body up, he went missing on July 4th, as they say. His body should have been there on July 5th. Why would it not appear to July 6th? And that's one of those things that's just not adding up. And the fact that if he stayed behind on the island, there were boats there.
They were circling in that photo the beer cans that were lined up on the left side. Lorraine, thank you for joining.
There were people. Somebody had to see something. That's why it's not adding up.
It honestly feels as though Nolan's body was moved and then placed back on the shore to be found later. Nolan's best friend, Javon Williams, was there with him on the island. They did not come together, nor did they leave together, but he gives more insight on the fight that happened there on the island. And surprisingly, he says that investigators have not contacted him at all to ask him any questions.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44.
You just built a
Actually on Horn Island that day, saw Nolan that morning and saw him in the afternoon also. So he's joining us just to tell us what he knows about what went on Horn Island. Javon Williams, welcome to TMZ Live.
Can I clear up that first part? I didn't see him in the morning. I seen him
in the afternoon when you got out to the island. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that you were not on that boat.
Okay. Now, this is why when I saw this video, I got a red flag too. I knew it was something. Now, in the article that Javon said, the article, I think it was the Sun Herald, because he's done the Sun Herald, he's done this TMZ interview. He stated that they were supposed to go out on 2 separate boats. His boat filled up, so Nolan got on another boat. But notice here in the TMZ interview, he's just saying he saw him at the island. Well, what happened to that other part of the story? Okay, what happened to y'all being on separate boats and y'all were about to go together? He didn't say it in this part. See, the clip I showed last week, I didn't see this beginning part. So that's why I was like, wait a second. He's saying it like he didn't go out there. That's why it wasn't clear to me, because I thought you both were supposed to be on a boat, but it filled up and no, the boat. He's saying, hold up, I want to clear up that part. I saw him once we got there. Okay. So we got to call out everything, because if there are some discrepancies, then what is that about? Like, why did it change now with TMZ?
Boat that went back, but you did know the friends on the boat. You knew Nolan, obviously. One of the things that I wanted to know is, what was the relationship like between Nolan and these other people that ended up on that boat? Were they friendly? Did they sometimes argue? Can you kind of give us a sense of that?
Yeah, so Nolan hung out with them a lot. I wasn't ever hanging out with them because, they're older and they were like hanging out when they come back from like college and stuff like that. So Nolan was with them a lot. I was never like with them. I knew them, but I was never hanging out with them. I know one of the boys he was with was a pretty good dude. But other than that, I don't really know like as every time they hang out how it goes. Like I don't really know that because I never hung out with them personally.
Javon, were they teammates of his? Did they play football also? Were they? I know they're a year ahead of you, but were they all teammates, or was Nolan the only one who played football?
Nolan was the only one that played football.
Okay. So did Nolan ever talk about them? Did he ever describe his relationship with them? Did he, talk about how much fun they had, whether they got in arguments? Did he ever talk to you about them?
Never. He just told me like how they had like good times. They'll go like he'll just let me know they're going out somewhere. They're gonna, just hang out. He never really said anything bad about like them.
Okay. Take us to that day on July 4th. So roughly how many kids are out there for this party? And
y'all, for some reason, I hope this not giving Eddie vibes with the Carmelo case, child. Okay. Now he never talked about him, but he would tell me, is it he never talked about them, or he would tell you some stuff about them? Like, like I'm just trying to figure it out.
Describe your interaction with Nolan that day on the island.
Okay, yeah. So it probably was around, I want to say around like 100 people. Like everyone from Horn Island, everyone at Horn Island like that live on the coast were there pretty much. Obviously, it was older people. There's a lot of people there, like honestly. But I seen Nolan whenever I got out there out there around 11 o'clock. I had walked down to their boat. I had seen him, and it was like a whole bunch of people. I didn't expect it. So I seen Nolan. As soon as I seen Nolan, he's like, "Hey, bro, what you doing?" Like, "I love you, dog. I love you." And then we were just hanging out, chilling, just having a good time. And then so I want to say around 3:40, 4 o'clock, an altercation had happened between one of my other friends. I don't want to say his name, but he had got an altercation. So I went and checked on him for about 20 to 15 minutes. I came back, Nolan's boat and the people that he was with were gone. But the thing about the 2 boats that I said, there were 2 boats tied up. So therefore, I didn't know which boat Nolan exactly was on because they were both tied up.
Javon, have you seen the video that's been going around social media?
Now, wait a minute, y'all. He didn't, okay, he said they were gone, but he didn't know which one. No, let's listen to that one little part again, because I'm confused. You don't know which boat, but you knew it was gone to that little short end.
And then so around, I want to say around 3:40, 4 o'clock, altercation had happened between one of my other friends. I don't want to say his name, but he had got an altercation. So I went and checked on him for about 20 minutes, 20 to 15 minutes. I came back, Nolan's boat and the people that he was with were gone. But the thing about the two boats that I said, there were two boats tied up. So therefore, I didn't know which boat Nolan exactly was on.
Now, I thought it was stated that allegedly Nolan had also got into an altercation where he was asking, what's going on? Give me my effing phone. He didn't bring that up. He said it was another altercation with another friend, and then they were gone. So what happened with Nolan? Because I thought in another part, he said he went to check on Nolan. Ooh, child. Okay, let's continue.
Because
I just created simple product videos for all these different products using Veo, Nano Banana, and Airtable. No API keys to connect. All the models are built right into Airtable. You don't need to start with professional photos.
They're both tied up.
Javon, have you seen the video that's been going around social media where people think that they're hearing an argument between people and they're wondering whether or not Nolan is one of the people in that argument? You just described that you had another friend, not Nolan, another friend who was in and got into a dispute. Is that video the other argument that you were talking about?
Yes.
So, but is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were
allegedly too. Now the one that was going viral where it was from the boat and Nolan is standing out kind of at the back of the crowd there, that may have been the other friend's altercation. But if he's saying there is another one where it seems like the voices are close, maybe that's the one with Nolan. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just feeling like, why is it he doesn't have to tell us who the friend was, but what was that whole situation about? Did you ever hear Nolan saying something about his phone? And why did he tell Nolan to look out for himself? Now, that was another guy. That wasn't even this friend that said, be safe and look out for yourself. It was the other one that was out there, and I'll find it up for you out there with the family. Give me 1 second. It's so many people, y'all. That's the thing. We pretty much have to have a whole diagram of all of the character in this whole case. It's so many. This friend was out there. This friend texted. This friend saw this. He said, I love you. This friend has the phone. This friend has the keys in the car. This friend had the party. Wait, what? It's too many people involved. We can't even hardly narrow this down to the top 5. We got like the top 20 right now. Okay, so let me find this one. Okay, here it is. Now, the friend here to the left is the one who said he had texted Nolan before they got out there to say, be careful, be safe. I don't know why he thought to text him that. It was just out of the blue. This the morning of the search when they found Nolan's body. These two were out there. Javon is on the right. He had given, both of these guys had given a statement to the Sun Herald, okay, about what happened. And so I just felt that was out of place as well. I don't know. I definitely don't know what's up with that. But yeah, that's the friend. The person, I should say.
We're trying to, like, as he was in the altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it.
You're talking to a bunch of people, I'm sure, who knew Nolan and maybe who were on the island. What's the buzz? What are people saying with you and your friends?
I mean, obviously, it's hard. like I post my friend Nolan just to have like, you know, show everyone that like how good of a person he was and try to like bring closure to like whatever the hell happened. Like like this hurts. Like I've never lost someone this close to me, and like for people to like to say that I was the last to see him and keep twisting and turning my words and say that how did like his closest friend would have knew his password. Like, so they're trying to say that like paint me a picture to being like the reason this is happening. I promise you guys, if I was the last person to see Nolan, I seen him by himself, he would have been home with us today. He would be with us today. I was still.
Oh, so someone. Oh, see, I didn't know this part. So some people must have been accusing him of being able to get inside of that phone because his mom is the one that went to the other young man's house to get the cell phone. Okay, Nolan's mom tracked it to her house. So someone was, I guess, accusing him because he's the best friend of getting access and getting into Nolan's phone himself. Ooh, y'all, this too much. This is too much. Oh my gosh,
Be able to talk to my friend every single freaking day, and so it really just it hurts me so much, like hearing people say these things. But at the same time, people are just going off what they hear, so it's hard. He had his own people. I mean, he hangs out with these guys like almost all the time. So I'm thinking he's fine. You know, I'm not thinking nothing of it.
And you never heard of Nolan having any kind of an argument with these guys before? You never heard anything like that?
No, sir.
What are people saying? I mean, these guys,
actually,
some of them have gotten lawyers.
Well, I'm curious if the police have, I know they said they're still investigating. Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No, sir.
That's odd.
I don't see why the cops would have to talk to me. I mean, obviously, like, you know, like I had said my plea, like, because whenever I had talked to the people at Sunheard, it was whenever, you know, the body was discovered and the autopsy people and all those people were there.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm surprised. Because you knew Nolan well, and you knew that he was friends with these guys who were the last ones to be around him before his body was found. And I would think they would at least want to know, hey, just the things we're asking.
Right.
You know, did you ever hear of any of this stuff? It's odd to me.
Just to gather information.
Yeah, that the cops wouldn't have contacted you. Yeah.
Dental implants can change your life, but if you ignore these 5 things, they can cause serious trouble. Let's talk about what no one else.
Okay, I mean, yes. Okay, so you don't need a license to operate a boat, child. You need one. You need to have one. That's weird, child. You got to have one to drive a car. You definitely need one with a whole boat in water like that. What in the world? I got to look into that. Okay, right. I wonder if Nolan's parents knew that. That's what I asked HGY. I wanted to know, did the parents approve of this interview? Because to me, it just presented more questions. Okay? It's like more questions. If they are saying this, does it mean everyone knew those boys were trouble? Right. And it's a lot of people, it seemed like, were angry that day, child. They done got drunk trying to get into it, fights going on. Okay, so what in the world? Okay, who are the people Javon is talking about that was in altercation? He said he didn't want to name names. Probably in fear for his life, child. They probably will come after him. I don't know. That's what I want to know. Yeah, he didn't say his name. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. He just doesn't want to be targeted. Yeah, that part. Yeah, I can see that. I'm sure the lawyer will be interrogating all those people, right? And you know, it is critical for him to give his story. He brings a big part of this, you know, this whole case. Why have they not questioned him? That's crazy work.
And that's fine. Like, I'm completely fine with that. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. Like, that's my boy, and I want him to find justice. Like that, like this whole case thing, like whatever, like this whole situation, and none of this adds up to me. So like, it's really hard, like, for like people to just like keep on saying things when like none of it adds up, honestly.
So one of the things that I'm sure, Javon, you've seen has been a big part of this story, people making the point that, at least in the photos that we initially saw, that Nolan was the only African-American kid who was out there, at least on that boat. Do you think, having been there on the island with this large group of people, that race plays a factor in whatever happened here?
I don't want to answer that. I don't want to answer that question. I wouldn't say like, yeah, I wouldn't want to answer that question. I mean, obviously we go to Ocean Springs, we're going to have white friends. So like, that's, I mean, I guess it's pretty normal down here, but.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear you. If that's, I guess you're saying that it's normal. It's not out of place to be a black teen in that area and that you have white friends, right? That's not uncommon is what you're saying.
I'm sure every black person has white friends somewhere, you know? So I wouldn't say that it's a whole race thing, but it's just like, obviously they're going to paint it as that because none of this adds up. So.
Got it. Okay.
All right, Javon.
Thank you so much.
Very sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Hang in there. I know this is going to be tough.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I think they were more confused. Y'all know TMZ, they tried to be the first on everything. He was really, they weren't the first because he had already spoken with the Sun Herald. But I think they realized after doing this interview that they probably should not have. Okay, because they didn't get any info as well. You know, I feel like he was nervous, but at the same time, why are you giving more attention to yourself? I think it was more so to try to protect himself because people were starting to include him in the equation. And I think it was more so for his protection. I don't know if they had gotten permission. He definitely had permission from his mom, okay, to do this interview. I don't know if Nolan's parents knew of this interview. This was the same day they were doing their interviews. Okay, so I don't know. It's just very questionable. If they question him, that means they would have to question them all. Yes. And they don't want to do that. That would definitely have to be forced. Yeah, that's true. He's telling a story, but not much details, which is somewhat unhelpful. And he's getting paid. Okay. Javon didn't answer that question. He have witnessed the racist BS. Definitely. He don't want to say his name, but he would have to tell the police. Yep. For what he drowned. Remember, this interview is telling. Ooh, and you know he knows some stuff. It seems like all these kids kind of roam in groups and know of each other, even if he's not directly connected to those friends. It's like everybody's trying to separate themselves from Nolan in his final moments. Like they don't want to be accused. You think he's clout chasing? Okay, Javon, you're not there. He's the paid friend to deflect the racism. Yeah, I said that the other day too. Yep, to be sent out here saying, oh, no, it's not about race. Yep. Hey, Life is Nikisha. Yeah, I think so, but I think he's nervous as well. Okay, I think he's nervous as well. If there were true foul play, I hope all involved burn. Why the lies and cover up? Yeah, y'all, I think that this is one of those cases, in my opinion, that they felt, oh, this is going to be an accidental drowning, and no one was going to look into this. They had the perfect scenario of him being on Horn Island. You have the friends saying, oh, but we thought he was going to stay behind, and it was just the case closed, move on. Okay. But they did not bank on his mother using Life 360, realizing that his phone was not there. They probably thought people would have assumed his phone was at the bottom of the water, like it, you know, just an awful accident. I don't know if they were going to say, oh, we couldn't find the phone. So it's a lot. It's a lot, but they see now a lot of eyes are on this case. So I'm curious to see. I'm going to be looking for the updates, y'all, because y'all know the autopsy report should be coming soon. Definitely the independent autopsy. They thought they would have it Friday, but there were some flights canceled to New York. His body did not arrive in time. So definitely going to see what they say with this independent autopsy. On top of that, y'all, we'll kind of be able to put together some more puzzle pieces about that. Let's see here. I want justice for Nolan. Every parent mourns with Nolan's parents. Exactly. Okay, don't be the only meatball in the spaghetti. Not meatball in the spaghetti. gosh. Hey, Dr. Braves, welcome. Javon is the Charleston White of this case. They got to him and now he is compromised. I think, hey, I can't say for sure, but sis, I was thinking the same thing. That's why I said it was giving Eddie vibes to me. I think he has been compromised and they better watch it because y'all remember when Shanquella, her 6 friends left her over there in Cabo, those friends came around the family saying that, oh, this was an awful accident. The mom said they were showing up every day, but they were trying to get information. They were trying to see how much the mom knew. Okay. Yes. They use water drowning to cover up murder all the time. Yes. And so she said once the video went viral, they stopped showing up. Okay. So if something else comes out, his parents need to peep the plate of this friend and see if anything changes with that. Right. Right. Hey, Bunny, welcome. The new information about Nolan on the live. Yeah. We don't really know that to be fact quite yet, but it's info that's out there. We just kind of brought it up, but we don't know it to be fact. You're welcome, Kayla, and thank you for subbing. Welcome to the Open Book family. She said prayers for Nolan's family. Till next time. Thank you so much for joining today as well. Bridget, and welcome, Bridget. I heard the fight we have been seeing on the island. Someone said that was fake. Nolan wasn't there, so I'm assuming that Javon, other friend. Well, I was thinking that it was someone else down there because the one that I saw, Nolan was kind of standing around to the back of the group. I didn't think he was involved in that particular one, if that makes sense. Now, they're saying there was another video of him saying, give me my effing phone. I don't know what the whole phone situation was about. What I can say is, y'all, there are multiple people involved in this. I mean, we can pretty much count 15 or more at this point that are clearly involved in some capacity, whether it was to take a picture of him, whether it's to have his phone, whether it was to contact his mother, all of this. Like, they have to look into all of these people. They need to look into camera footage. They need to get statements, arrest warrants for the whole theft thing of having his phone, all of that, not wanting to give things over. And then they need to check out this whole pool party, because when we look at this person, whether they're a troll or not, involved a lot of different names, and some of the names we have heard about. They need to check with all of these people. They need to go to Evan's house and see if that's the pool. What happened the day of that weekend? Did they have a pool party? All of that. It needs to be checked out. Okay, and welcome everyone coming on in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Also, the video told how the police not giving info to buy time to clean up because the island. Oh, really, Brandy? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Wow. Hi, John. Is it John? Welcome, John. I've been looking for a good YouTube podcast. This is my first time watching you, Queen, and I'm impressed. I will subscribe and support. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate the support for you tapping in. And also, welcome to the Open Book family. All of Nolan's friends are being watched to hear what they are saying. The suspect's mother, who is a judge, wanted to talk to Ben Crump. Why? Make a deal? Well, Bunny, you know she put that statement out right before they were doing the press tour, you know, telling everyone about the story and so forth. She did that the night before, and she has not said anything else since then, because I check daily. Okay. She has not said anything else. I think she knows she messed up with those statements. Yes, his mother. Yes, Jamillionaire. So people must have been accusing him that he had gotten into the phone, that he's the best friend, and probably, got into the phone. So he's trying to clear his name too. I'm going to be honest. I don't believe that they counted on this case. No, just like they did with Carmelo, they didn't think this many people were going to watch this case and what they're doing. Go back to that house. Oh, yeah, where they were cleaning the boat, allegedly. Yeah. Now, the girl on TikTok said that the person who saw that did say that they were going to go to the police with that info. It was on Evan's page, then deleted. Yes, the pool party picture. They said it was deleted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need to really talk to the girl and this person too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thoroughly. And yeah, you too, John. You too. And who y'all? It's other stuff on Facebook. Another video I was watching this weekend, and I don't want to show it because it's like um one of those the channeling of, y'all probably have seen that. And I said I wasn't going to show those on my channel. And really investigative purposes, certain things that can be looked into for those purposes sometimes. But depending on if there was a pool party, some of the things that lady said in that video, if proven, is horrific that they did to Nolan. If proven to be true, she had even mentioned possible blunt force trauma to his head. And this is why the autopsy reports are going to be so valuable. I don't know why they did not allow the parents to see Nolan's body. I thought the whole time they were using the parents' DNA to identify his body that morning because they were out there when they located his body. They found out that it was Nolan through dental records. So that's a red flag for me. I'm like, is it going to be like a Kendrick Johnson type of thing where you're telling the family this happened, but the state of his body did not match? Okay. Is it going to be like an Emmett Till thing when she got her son's body back? So my prayer this weekend was that God prepares these parents' hearts for the first time when they lay their eyes on their son. And we know that it has to be soon because the services, Reverend Al Sharpton did an interview with them yesterday, I think, and he's going to be the speaker. And he said, I'll see y'all later on this week. So they were just trying to make sure his body went through the independent autopsy process first, and then they're going to make the arrangements to have his services. So it's going to be very telling once this autopsy report is completed. And when the family comes back out to share the updates, or Ben Crump, he comes back out to share an update. I think the sheriff's department already knows some stuff. They're trying to see if it's going to be found out. In my opinion, that's what I feel. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Exactly, Ravens for life. Yes, that's how court works. That's true. I agree. My gut telling me the pool party pick is old to throw us off. Right. And that's why I'm not really pushing that too much, because I don't know how much of that is true. Do I feel that there was some foul play? Of course. But I don't know about this whole pool party thing and all of that. So I'm not just going to state it as fact. No, in this case, I heard over here. Thank you so much, Bunny. I appreciate that, sis. Yes, she did tell a lot. I cannot discount her statement. She had names in there. You can prove names. You can go to these people and see. Thank you, Coffee Lover. Shout out to you for tapping in. Yeah, I cannot wait for the updates. Right. If you want to support the channel, you're welcome to send a super sticker, super chat, Cash App, or buy a coffee. Also, special shout out to the sponsors for this live, Protect Your Peace, Patrice, Lisa, Gentleman's Den, Latte, and Shamika. Thank you, ladies, so much for being sponsors this morning. Also, the Cash App is scrolling on the screen for those of you who would like to support in that capacity. And it was said how 2 boats left the island reckless, like they was trying to get somewhere. Oh, really, Brandy? I didn't hear about that. Exactly. That's what we're trying to figure out. Now, they must have had enough information to verify that it was Nolan. I also want to know if his shorts were black or blue. I know that that's something minor, but I think it'll also give some other clues to some stuff. Law enforcement are giving Nolan suspects to roam around to unalive. And they're out here probably still talking, y'all. Although they privated their pages, guess who can see it? Their friends. Now, unless they're really smart and not post anything, okay? But their friends can still see things. You know how people are. They screenshot stuff, screen record stuff. You don't know who's back there watching if you still have it where only your friends can see it. And who would tell? Some people are not going to want to get into trouble, so they'll tell first. Yeah, I agree, Dr. Braves. They just said the pic was not from fourth or fifth, confirmed by the friend. Okay, got you spilling the grits. And he probably didn't have his wallet on him either, Tim. Yeah, he probably didn't even have his wallet. I'm surprised how quiet it is around here. Okay, I bet it is quiet, but it shouldn't be. By Tuesday or Wednesday, we should start hearing some noise. Okay, so you must be in Mississippi. Well, I mean, duh, your name. Are you in that area? Like close to? You don't have to identify if you don't want to. Let's see, it is what it is. That Obi in the pool pic, one of the boys has USA shaved on his chest, was celebrating the 4th. Oh, I don't know. Yes, Bonnie, if that's the case. Right, right, Dresky. Oh, if he's badly beaten till he's unrecognizable, did the water do it? He wasn't even out there long enough for all of that damage. The way he rushed accidental, I was thinking the sheriff probably related also. Yes, definitely. Also, shout out to Aldana for the super sticker and for being a sponsor for today's live. Thank you so much. These southern states are something else. I just feel in my spirit that things are happening to draw our attention away from things that are flooding the internet. Yep. The Mama Bear judge is getting more tore up on social media. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Q. Cash Patel. The judge mom is also the one who sealed. Yes, we were talking about that in that Aubrey Wyatt case. Yes, she sealed the records of the bullies. I remember that. We were talking about that last week. Exactly, Dorothy. And then his mom said she hadn't even spoken with the friends yet. I wonder that too, Brittany. I'm thinking it may be. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking it might be streamed at least. Yes, if that's true. I said that's like George Floyd, where he was calling for his mom. But a lot of people, if you were hurt or in trouble, who the first person you call for? Most people call for their mothers. That's sad if that's true, y'all. Okay, Dr. Braves, I didn't see yours. Sometimes it happens like that because I've sent supers before and it didn't pop up. But thank you, sis, for being a sponsor. It'll probably show up on the back end. Probably. Yeah, Aldana, that's true. I can see that connection because she's a whole judge. Yeah. All right, so on our way out, we're going to play this video of this guy that we looked at in the beginning, y'all, because he has some good points. He wakes us up, okay, as well, hitting that screenshot, but he speaks facts in this video, and then we'll be out of here.
Second would not been handcuffed the motherfucking second they brought that phone back to that mama. Think for a second, every major fucking influencer in the world would have been jumping on board on this, saying something's fishy about this because he's black. It's different. You don't believe me? Okay, let's do this real quick. Since July 4th, how many videos of these teen takeover mobs have you seen that look like this? Or this? And how many have you seen that look like this? I bet not a fucking lie. Simple fucking fact of the matter is, media, in particular, social fucking media, wants to paint the black community as a bunch of fucking wild animals. So that when situations like the Noah Wells situations occurs, nobody gives a fuck. Well, you know what? That's why in my bio here it says champion for motherfucking all. I don't give a fuck about your race. I don't care who you fuck. I don't care about your politics. And I don't give a fuck about the color of your skin. Something about this case is fucking fishy. Something is off. And even if those boys didn't do it themselves, stop calling them his fucking friends, because they left that young man on the island with fucking strangers and he never came home. That's the bottom fucking line. Don't you dare tell me that if Nolan had looked like this right here, things would not have been handled differently, because they abso-fucking-lutely would have.
It's the hitting on the phone for me. Shout out to Sonia for the super chat and for being another sponsor. She said, great live open book as always. I appreciate your hard work on these cases. You bring awareness on. Thank you, sis. And I appreciate all of y'all's support. Also, special shout out to the mods in the building today. Y'all had them working today. Okay. I appreciate everyone for joining. Also, special shout out to the members, the open book members. If you would like to become a member, and we have exclusive posts, lives, videos that I may not share publicly all the time, just click that join button, or they can put the link in the chat as well. But I thank everyone for joining on today. Let's see what's right there. Okay, I've heard that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Shelly. Thank y'all. Thank you, Miss V. I appreciate the support also. Thank y'all for joining. Make sure you tap that like button. Don't forget to hype up the video, subscribe, and hit that bell, because you never know when I'm going to go live. Thank you, Dr. Braves. It is justice for Nolan. Let's drop those, the orange hearts. Y'all, we got so many cases, different colors. Child, we are dropping orange hearts for Nolan. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
You just flip through truth with the open book. If you felt that heat, like share and stay locked in. Another chapter done, but we far from finished. Truth on the mic, yeah, we handle business. Real talk, no fluff, just facts and fire. From the book to the block, we taking it higher. The open book, every voice matters, every lie shatters. Catch you next page.